Salutations, spooks, spirits, and specters, and welcome back to more Corpse Party Book of Shadows. Nana's gone off in search of her friends, and Mayu was sent to go keep her company in the meantime. So yeah, we're in the girls' bathroom because Nana also mentioned, I have to go pee anyways. The bathroom felt empty. There was no indication of Nana's presence whatsoever.
ナナちゃんと入れ違いになっちゃったのかな。ナナちゃん
All the way down there?
どうしたのナナちゃん
The sound that echoed through the hall was like that of a butcher slicing up a large chunk of meat, bone and all. And this sound was accompanied by the dimly lit figure of Nana sprawled out on the ground in front of me. Or rather, part of Nana. It was really just the top half of her body, severed cleanly at the thigh. The bruises. Her legs were completely gone. And the worst part is, she was still fully alert and aware. This grisly sight was too much for me to handle. I became weak in the knees and fell backwards, landing on my butt. I couldn't move. Nana was bending and contorting her back and writhing on the ground as if struggling to escape the pain and the fear. I wanted to help her, but I had no idea what I could do. Nothing had ever prepared me for a situation like this. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't even think. The sight of Nana's squirming body, gushing blood every which way, was burning itself into my mind. It was the most frightening thing I'd ever seen. I could sense the presence of another person in the shadows, just behind Nana's torso. Who was it? The darkness was all-encompassing past a certain point, giving only the vaguest notion of a human silhouette within an inky black void.
誰あそこ更衣室違うどこなのあそこ
That door should have led into the pool locker room, but the lighting, or lack of it, was completely wrong. There was also an indescribably foul odor wafting out from within, so powerful and revolting that I felt it could never leave my senses again. And whatever being was lurking in the shadows of that horrible room was getting closer to me, step by step. I still couldn't make out a single feature, but frankly, I didn't want to. His existence alone was threatening enough. Whoever this was, I could sense his shadow posturing itself over Nana's head as if preparing to swallow it whole. Like a crocodile. In fact, the shadow was beginning to resemble a crocodile more and more. Was this even a person? The figure was now fully visible, and was indeed a person, I think. He grabbed Nana by the head, then turned and began dragging her into that horrid room. She was clearly nearing death, as it took everything she had to scream in protest. Her voice was getting weaker, and her writhing less pronounced. I couldn't even imagine how painful it must be to have one's severed body slowly dragged across the floor, exposed side down. It would be bad enough just having my head held in that massive, filthy grip. No, grip isn't the right word. It really was more like a bite. These were the panicked primal screams of a person's last moments on Earth. It's a sound that no one should ever have to hear, much less produce. And once you hear it, it's the kind of thing you'll be hearing again for the rest of your life. Nothing can ever wipe it out from your memory. It stays with you. I sat there, dumbfounded, so disturbed that I could barely breathe, and watched the slow slithering of Nana's body as she disappeared into the unknown. It only took a few seconds for her to vanish into blackness, but those were the longest few seconds of my life. And once she was gone, only a wide swath of blood remained, tracing her path down the hall and across that hellish threshold. Gathering all my courage, I ran at full speed toward the black void, but found no room to enter. Beyond the door was nothing more than a solid wall. It was just as Shinozaki had said. Right before my eyes, a human being was pulled into a space that simply no longer existed, pulled out of reality. And yet, I could still hear her.
怖くなった私は弾かれるようにしてその場を逃げ出した。私なんでこっちに走ってるの？走る向きが逆でしょ？ナナちゃんは後ろにいるのに。助けなきゃ。ナナちゃん助けなきゃ。離れて きなかった。岸沼くんたちになんて言えば。さっきまで一緒に話してたナナちゃんがあんなことに。足があざの形に切れてしまって。あざ？ナナちゃん、あのあざのところを切られ。私のお腹のあざは関係ないよね。偶然だよ。やだ、私こんな時まで自分の心配。だけど。
Are you going to check? I opened my compact mirror and hesitantly brought it down to my abdomen, lifting my shirt and loosening my skirt a bit to get a better look.
そんな。
I didn't have to look very hard. The color of the bruise on my abdomen had darkened significantly. It was far more pronounced now, practically pulsating in purplish red. It looked more like some kind of demented crest that had surfaced from deep inside my body.
嘘。色が濃くなってなんかはっきりしてきてる。それに前よりも広がってきて。何これ。なんで。ただのあざだよね。ほっといたらすぐに消えて。
I just kept telling myself that it would go away on its own. It was nothing, and I was starting to believe it. Feeling somewhat placated, I lifted the mirror up and prepared to shut it and put it away when I caught a quick glimpse of my face. I saw fear. I saw sadness. I saw defeat. But I also saw something else. No. At first, I doubted my eyes, but I wasn't seeing things, nor was it a smudge on the mirror. It was another discolored bruise, just like the one on my abdomen. It was nowhere near as dark, but it was definitely there, and given enough time, it would probably get a lot darker.
なんでこんなの。いつの間に。違う、何か汚れがくっついているだけだよ。こんなのちょっとこすればすぐに。
I tried spit shining it away with my finger, but all that did was make it wet. And each time I pressed down on it, the surrounding skin would turn white, creating greater contrast and making it stand out more. It wasn't going away. It wasn't going away. And if it just kept darkening, I might wind up like Nana.
やだ。
torn apart at the seams.
鈴本、どうかしたのか？なんか声聞こえたから気になってよ。小笠原はまだ見つかんねえのか？
心配ね。今からみんなで探し。鈴本さん？ダメ！来ちゃダメ！
I took a step away from them, despite myself.
どうしたんだよ？
お願い！来ないで！なんでもないから！何かあったの？その鏡に何か。なんでもない！何も映ってない！平気だから！私
No, I couldn't let them see me like that. I didn't want them to see that hideous bruise.
おい、鈴本！
鈴本さん！どうしよう、どうしよう。また逃げてる、私。でもどこへ？あざを消さなきゃ。これを消さないと。でないと私ナナちゃんみたいに。早く消さないと。
I had some concealer in my makeup bag. Maybe I could hide it.
これなら見えないよね。あんなあざ、ちょっと寝て目を覚ましたら治ってる。絶対に。
Yeah, I was getting all worked up over nothing. It was just a little mark on my face after all. Probably just a result of all the stress I'd been feeling here. Once things calmed down, it would go away for sure. Right? Welcome back. I knew as soon as I read that note and then saw that the nurse's office door was blacked out like that, I was like, oh no. It wouldn't open. And it wasn't like it was locked. Rather, it felt almost as if someone were holding it closed with superhuman strength. Suddenly, I realized why. The door was wrapped multiple times over with thin black threads. How had I not noticed these a moment ago?
何？髪の毛？人間の？
I looked at it a bit more closely and concluded, without question, that that's exactly what it was. I felt an unpleasant heat radiating all along my back muscles, across my entire spine. I was being watched. There was some sort of moist, lukewarm presence in the room with me, and slowly but surely I could sense it moving.
誰かいるの？私の後ろに。
I was too scared to turn around.
保健室が。
It was a little girl wearing a red dress. Probably a first or second grader. Her skin was as pale as pottery, contrasting with her liqueur-like hair, and she looked somehow familiar.
この子、新聞に載ってた殺人事件の生存者。篠崎幸子。嘘でしょ。だってあれ30年以上も前の。保健室がまだ殺風景なの。そうだ、人体解剖標本。人体解剖標本が欲しい。お姉ちゃん、また遊べるね。
Something was dripping onto the back of my hand.
涙。
That's what I thought at first, anyway. If I'd started to cry, I wasn't aware, but considering what I was going through, it wouldn't have been surprising in any way. I wondered just how much I'd cried since getting sealed up in this godforsaken place. Probably more than I'd ever cried before in my entire life. But these weren't tears, were they? Was it blood then? Did these children do something to me? Sure enough, I reached up and touched my face, and my finger came in contact with something sticky. Something sticky and red.
いや、何したの？何も。
Sachiko's answer was cold and disinterested, and came accompanied with a crooked, wry smile. She was just a child, yet one glance from her made every hair on my body stand on end.
鏡で見てみたらどう？少しだけ待っててあげる。
Sachiko's face somehow made me feel as if there might be two sides to her, one gentle and one not. But regardless of which I was dealing with here, I wasn't about to go against her recommendation. I was legitimately curious myself. So I took out my compact, opened it, and...
なんでこんな嘘だよ。
The bruise I'd concealed with makeup had sprung back to the surface once again, though it could hardly be called a bruise anymore. My skin had literally split open from inside, and blood was beginning to seep out through the pinkish fissure, bead by bead.
違わない、お前だよ。抗わなければ一瞬でいけたのにね。だけど残念。お前はそのお腹の亀裂の通りに散って死ぬのはもう決まっているんだよ。
The bruise along my stomach and abdomen had followed suit, splitting open and dripping dark red blood everywhere. At this point, I'd completely lost any ability to think or reason. I was a goner, and I knew it.
壁にぶつかって一瞬で死ぬよりももっと辛い。ゆっくりとした散り方で死になさい。人体解剖標本の作成。やめて！来ないで！やめて
！Yeah, I was a goner. I couldn't fight it. Somewhere deep in the pit of my soul, I knew there was no way out. This unimaginably cruel fate was predestined. I couldn't escape. Oh, sure. I tried to run. I squirmed and resisted with every last bit of strength I had. But fate had me by the ankle, and it wasn't about to let go. If only I could force myself to lose consciousness, maybe I could avoid the unbearable agony that I knew was coming. But sadly, I wasn't that strong-willed. I could feel the hands of children all over my body, coming from virtually every direction, and they were really digging.
しげに来ない来ないしげになんて来やしないんだよ。
I was seized with a pain unlike anything I'd ever imagined possible before. I couldn't talk, couldn't move, couldn't even think. I felt like my head was going to explode under the pressure of the millions of nerves, all telling my brain just how much every part of my body hurt. And it didn't stop. Every moment, it grew worse and worse. Then, I began to drift away.
の廊下にでも飾っておこうか、この標本。学校がどんどん賑やかになっていくな。
Sachiko's voice sounded like it was far in the distance. It was then that I realized the agony I'd been feeling had changed. It was no longer pain, but chill. It didn't hurt anymore. I was just cold. So cold that I couldn't even feel my body.
寒い。ものすごく寒いよ。しげに。もう指一本動かない。私が死んで惨めな死体になっても嫌いにならないでくれる？しげに、私ね、しげにのこと。
My final wish is that Shige be the one to find my body. As long as it's not too revolting to look at, anyway. I want him to think I'm pretty. I miss him. Shig, bro. Well, Chapter 3 will be next, I suppose. So thank you all very much for watching. And ciao for now. Ciao for now. The price of nice.